Welcome to the 6th Annual Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society Fundraiser. I'm Rick Tabor, this year's HPGS President. We have an incredible show for you today. Let's start with a mahalo nui loa to you, our valued HPGS members and guests. Thank you for your support, and a shout out to our HPGS Board of Directors, including our Executive Director, Sherry Goya, who's the glue and duct tape that holds it all together. And a special thank you to our fundraiser chair and next year's HPGS President, Kathy Wyatt. Today's event honors our gerontological field of dreams by raising scholarship and workforce support for our next generation of gerontology professionals. Last year's fundraiser and donations afforded us the opportunity to award 9 $2,500 scholarships to students in nursing, social work, and those in the medical field. We were also able to increase our one-year round paraprofessional scholarships to $750. So we raised it to $750. Let's hear from a few of those scholarship recipients now.
Aloha, my name is Kai Wang. I am an international doctoral student at UH Manoa studying in educational psychology. It is my goal to use the science of learning in order to promote digital inclusion and informational literacy among older adults in the Asian Pacific regions. Because of this HPGS scholarships, I can take more aging-related courses such as cognitive aging and adult learning series. Being awarded this scholarship is a great honor for me. Mahalo for all your support.
Aloha, my name is Kokoro Yamazaki, and I am a second year majoring in biology at UH Manoa. My interests fall under the medical field, and upon completing my degree, I anticipate to attend medical school in the future. I don't really have a set specialty, but I do enjoy working with the kupuna as I lived around a temple residence my entire life. I have benefited from the Tony Lenzer Scholarship as I'm currently here in Italy. I couldn't be more happy to be here. I would like to extend my biggest appreciation to HPGS for allowing me to be here and giving me this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity while being involved with such an amazing community. Thank you.
Aloha, my name is Melody Halzel, and I wanted to say thank you so much and a huge mahalo to the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society for the Scholarship Award. I am currently a PhD student at the University of Hawaii at Manoa, studying in the field of public health and a focus on community-based and translational research. My specific research focus is going to be on the impact, design, and implementation of an inclusive garden space for people with dementia and related Alzheimer's diseases and their caregivers. So the benefits of a garden and nature-based intervention, and really looking at what those guidelines would be to create this garden space for specifically benefiting people with dementia and their caregivers, as well as how can this be implemented at community and facility-based level. And this scholarship is going to help support my research as well as go towards workshops that I'm hosting at the Ho'ola'aina Pili Pili Accessible Community Garden, which is an age-friendly garden site created on the UH Manoa campus. I'm really grateful to be a part of the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society as a member as well. Thank you so much.
Well, that's our future, folks. Isn't that wonderful? Let's also give a big round of applause to Alelo for helping us prepare and broadcast today's virtual event. It's always a pleasure working with our Alelo friends. Today's broadcast will be posted at our HPGS Facebook and the webpage for anywhere, anytime viewing and sharing. But wait, it gets even better than that. Today we honor this year's HPGS 2022 honoree, a person who helps Hawaii Kupuna enhancing their lives through his and his team's tireless advocating for their rights to age comfortably with dignity and respect. HPGS proudly honors Hawaii's long-term care ombudsman leader and one heck of a guy, John McDermott, the leader of the long-term care ombudsman team since 1998. Congratulations, John. Well deserved. Okay, since there's no housekeeping directions, needed. Let's get on with the show. Are you ready for our incredible MC? If you thought it couldn't get any more exciting, well, we have a surprise for you. John selected his first supervisor, one of his treasured mentors, another valued leader in the gerontological field, an extremely valued professional and friend. I'd like to introduce and hand the microphone over to Marilyn Seeley, past Executive Director of Hawaii State's Executive Office on Aging and a fellow PABIA Policy Advisory Board for Elder Affairs member. Take it away, Marilyn.
Thank you, Rick, for those very kind words. I'd like to introduce John, who we've been talking about. We're honoring him in HPGS because he has served as a state long-term care ombudsman for several nursing homes on Oahu, co-authored the surrogate decision-making law, contributed to the governor's Blue Ribbon Panel, which worked on improving and replacing the law with the Uniform Healthcare Decisions Act. Originally from Long Island, the only son of a New York City policeman, he and a twin sister were the oldest in a large Irish family. John came to Hawaii in 1985. He graduated from the University of Notre Dame in 1980, earning a bachelor's degree in American Studies and pre-law, and received his master's in divinity from the Jesuit School of Theology at Berkeley. In 1989, he received his second master's in social work at the University of Hawaii. He has worked at Catholic Charities, Services to Families, and oversaw the Interstate Compact for the placement of children. He was also employed as a live-in counselor for the boys' home at Halekipa. You might say that John has aged in place at the Executive Office on Aging. We hired him in 1998 at the age of 39, and he has spent the last 24 years working as a state long-term care ombudsman. Let me clarify, not always as the leader of a large team of ombudsmen, but in some years he was the only ombudsman working, and that really was because of the failure of the legislature that would have expanded the program when it needed to be, according to national standards of a reasonable ratio of ombudsperson to long-term care residents. When John was being considered for the position, we wanted to be sure that he could be impartial as an advocate for nursing home residents, which sometimes meant he must act in opposition to the nursing facilities where he had previously worked as Director of Social Services. To the contrary, he subsequently demonstrated that his experience inside the nursing homes worked to his advantage as the ombudsman. I think in order to understand John and what his significant accomplishments are, in spite of disappointments in the lack of program support from the legislature, we need to understand what the Ombudsman program is and does. I think you will see that the very definition of who he is tied to his role as ombudsman. The word ombudsman is from the Swedish word ombudsman from the Old Norse, meaning representative. The Ombudsman Institution was in fact first established in Sweden in 1809 by the Swedish Parliament. It was not developed to serve residents of long-term care facilities, of which there were none at the time, but one that attempted to resolve complaints and problems on behalf of all citizens against institutions, officials, and businesses by safeguarding citizens' rights independent of the executive branch. In thinking of John's Irish-American heritage, I wondered if the Irish had a history of similar programs and traditions. Indeed, they do. They have embraced the fundamental concept of advocacy for their citizens and seem to have an ombudsman for just about everything, from children to the press, to defense forces, to the Garda or police. In fact, the Irish word for ombudsman is ombudsman. Perhaps you were predestined to your calling, John. In the U.S., the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Demonstration Project was created in 1972 as a public health service demonstration project in 5 states. Authority for administering the project was transferred to the Administration on Aging within the Department of Health and Human Services in 1973. The Executive Office on Aging was the agency selected to house the program here in Hawaii in 1975, predating the 1979 federal mandate set by Congress that each state have an office of the state ombudsman. According to federal law, an ombudsman is someone appointed to investigate complaints against an institution and seek resolution to those complaints by identifying, investigating, resolving resident complaints, providing services to assist residents in protecting health, safety, welfare, and rights of residents, providing information to residents about long-term care services and supports, representing the interests of residents before governmental agencies, and seeking administrative, legal, and other remedies to protect residents, and analyzing, commenting on, monitoring, and recommended changes in laws and regulations that pertain to the health, safety, welfare, and rights of residents. In recent years, the institution has become more closely linked to safeguarding the rule of law and the interests of citizens. The Ombudsman is increasingly being seen as a promoter of the fundamental right of individuals to good administration and a defender of citizens against maladministration, abuse of power, and improper discrimination. John has shown us that he is an example of someone who meets and exceeds these duties. He understands the vulnerability of very frail residents who may not have the support of families and friends. From small annoyances to extremely dangerous situations, he has worked tirelessly to protect their quality of life and safety. As the program developed, he also began to work closely with nursing facilities as a resource to help them meet the many regulations that govern them, thus advocating for systemic changes to improve resident care and quality of life. This relationship has earned him the respect of staff, enabling them to better serve their clients and legislators who have learned about the purpose of the program, the problems from the perspective of residents, and the benefits to vulnerable residents and their families. With great determination, he has persisted in bringing Ombud services to neighbor islands, finally being rewarded with additional paid staff who can respond quickly to complaints as well as make regular site visits without having to travel from Oahu. This enables them to establish a relationship with residents and staff, building trust in ability to resolve issues in a timely manner. I trust John has and will continue to fulfill his devotion to those living in institutions, and who knows, perhaps someday, even to those living at home with care or in public housing. Keep up the good fight, John. There is much to be done yet.
Thank you. Thank you. You started off by saying how ombudsman is a Swedish word, and that's we don't have a lot of people who speak Swedish in Hawaii, and that's why a lot of people don't really understand what I do. And I never heard of the word until you asked me if I would apply for the position, because I always thought that as the social worker, my job was to protect the residents and advocate for them. And so I was doing what an ombudsman does in my position as a social worker. I started out at Maunalani for 2 years as the director of social services, and then I was at Halinani for 7 years as the director of social services. Maunalani is our oldest nursing home. Sai Shantave is the administrator, but she was assistant administrator when I was there, and she was my boss. And Mr. Phillips was the administrator at Halinani, and his assistant was Norma Monti, who later became administrator. But in both cases, they made it very clear to me, both Sai and Norma and Mr. Phillips, that my job was to advocate for the residents. So I thought it was a really, really good background to have. I know that in some states, the ombudsman has maybe a background as an attorney. And so their first approach might be, well, if there's a problem, we sue. But as a social worker, our background, the first thing that you try to do is talk with one another and see if you can come up with a win-win situation. So I really think it's a perfect background for being the ombudsman.
Good words. You have a lot of fans, John, and I'm going to read various certificates of appreciation from people in the community.
Oh.
And the first one is special recognition from Governor David Ige, presented to John McDermott. Congratulations on being recognized by the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society during their 6th annual fundraiser for your commitment to Hawaii's kupuna. Your hard work and dedication serve to enrich many lives and improve communities in the state of Hawaii. Mahalo for making Hawaii a special place where future generations can choose to call home. Governor David Ige.
Wow.
And this is for you.
Wow, nice surprise. Wow. I'll hang it up tomorrow.
I think that we also have some words from Mayor Blangiardi, and I think he wants to do something in person on the video for you.
Okay.
Aloha, and to the members of the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society, a very warm mahalo for the opportunity to join you virtually today. You know, I'm so glad I get to be here today to help you honor a very special person and a very special program that are doing truly wonderful things for the people of our island. You know, when we came into office just a little bit more than 21 months ago, we knew that things like affordable housing, homelessness, and the rail were top of mind for our residents. But so too was elder care, and it has quickly become one of the top priorities for the members of our team. And it's for that reason I'm extremely proud to help HPGS recognize John McDermott, as well as the Hawaii Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program, for their incredible support of our kapuna. Bravo, well done. You know, John, for the past 24 years, you've dedicated yourself to helping elderly residents right here in Honolulu live their best lives. And I truly believe that our kapuna, especially those in long-term care settings, are better off because of your efforts. And to everyone else involved in the long-term care ombudsman program, including John and the entire team of volunteers, mahalo for bringing new attention and much-needed resources to help address some of the biggest challenges involved in the aging process. So in closing, let me again say thank you. We owe you a tremendous debt of gratitude, and to everyone who helps care for our most vulnerable kapuna. And I couldn't be more grateful for everything that you do to make our communities a better place. Aloha and mahalo.
We also have an award of recognition from the mayor, and I'd like to read it. One is for the long-term care ombudsman program itself. In recognition of your positive contributions to bringing new attention, needed resources, and a strong policy voice to helping address some of the biggest challenges facing the aging process in the city and county of Honolulu. Rick Blangieri, Mayor. And he also has one for you personally, John. In recognition of your meaningful contributions over 25 years to building public awareness and identifying as well as supporting comprehensive solutions to helping elderly residents in the city and county of Honolulu live their best lives, Mayor Rick Blangieri, to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful.
We also now have more videos for you to watch. The next one is from Senator Sharon Moriwaki, who is co-chair of Kapuna Caucus, has a strong interest in elderly affairs, and has supported the programs for many, many years. And we're very pleased that she is able to talk to you today, and also that she was very helpful in bringing forward the new positions for the ombudsman, the neighbor islands.
Congratulations, John, and mahalo to HPGS for its well-deserved honor and recognition of our long-term care ombudsman, John McDermott. You know, he's been a hero to so many in the over 1,700 long-term care facilities. He's an advocate, and I have witnessed personally his caring and his real tremendous effort to solve the problems of the most vulnerable in our community, those forgotten that we really should be honoring and really caring for. And so I really commend John. You know, there should be many, many more John McDermotts than the 5 positions the legislature offered up this session and gave to the Executive Office on Aging, because John has done wonders. And you know, over the last almost quarter century, he has worked like no other, and he has been so caring to so many. And he's going across all the islands by himself. So I commend him and hope that he is blazing this amazing trail for long-term care and for those who can't speak for themselves and their families, to have many more ombudsmen like John McDermott. So again, John, congratulations, and continue to do your work, but also enjoy life as well. Aloha, mahalo, John.
We have another one, John. This is from Tommy Waters from the City Council Chair, with words for you.
Aloha. On behalf of the Honolulu City Council, I'd like to recognize John McDermott for his many accomplishments and his commendable career in healthcare and community service. As we know, John has a track record of advocating for the well-being and safety of Hawaii's elderly population, with attention to those who reside in long-term care and assisted living facilities. As an ombudsman, he has also built a team of volunteers that provide support to the kupuna in our community. I'm so impressed with the team's work on everything from kupuna rights and safety to prevention of elderly abuse and neglect, and even long-term solutions like nursing home staffing and reduction of language barriers. On behalf of the Honolulu City Council and the residents of the City and County of Honolulu, we thank you, John, for everything that you have done. With your efforts, our state is safer and in a better place for our kupuna. Wishing you the best and much happiness in the years to come. Aloha.
We have a certificate from the Council of the City and County of Honolulu. I'd like to read this to you, John.
Okay.
As a Hawaii Long-Term Care Ombudsman since 1998, John advocates for the well-being and safety of Hawaii's elderly population with attention to those who reside in long-term care and assisted living facilities. He built a team of volunteer support long-term care ombudsmen. After 24 years, his most outstanding achievement since taking the position was to have 5 full-time state long-term care ombudsmen for Kauai, Maui, Hilo, Kona, and Oahu made a part of the state budget. That goal was fulfilled when Governor Ige signed that legislation into law in July 2022. John and his team continue to work on kupuna rights, safety, dignity, comfort, prevention of elder abuse and neglect, and all the long-term care initiatives such as nursing home staffing requirements, reducing language barriers, increasing personal needs allowance, and end-of-life decision-making. Therefore, on behalf of the people of the City and County of Honolulu, the Council recognizes John McDermott for his many accomplishments and his illustrious career in healthcare and community service. The Council thanks him for his service to our community and his many contributions to the welfare of Hawaii's kupuna. Further, the Council extends its best wishes for much happiness in the years ahead.
Well, beautiful. Thank you so much.
I think we have a video now from Carolyn Cotterill, who is the Director of the Executive Office on Aging, where the Ombudsman resides.
Hey, John, congratulations on this honor bestowed upon you by the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society for your undying devotion to our kupuna and their families throughout our state. John, you and I have worked together for the last 22 years. We were much younger and spry back then when we first started. It's an honor to have worked with you all these years and to see the growth in the program, which is so long overdue. You are a tireless advocate for the program and for the most vulnerable in our community. Every time we got a new director, every time we got new legislators, you were back at the table educating them about the program and the need for ombudsmen statewide throughout our state. You were pushing for equity and access long before it was a key slogan or a catchphrase, for, as we say it, for the federal government. You have advocated for years that each island in our state needs their own long-term care ombudsman locally in each county. With the passage of the state budget in this last year, this has now become a reality. However, your work never seems to end. You're the voice for those who can't speak for themselves. You ensure that residents' rights are upheld and that they have the best life possible in the settings they choose to live in. You're the most passionate advocate I have ever met. You have devoted your life, your adult life, to helping our kupuna in need, and Hawaii is a better place for your service. So mahalo and congratulations on this honor.
We have another video now from Derek Ariyoshi, who is the executive on Aging, Elderly Affairs Division of the City and County of Honolulu, the Area Agency on Aging. Words from Derek.
Hey there, John. Derek here, Elderly Affairs Division. I know we go way back. My first job in the Aging Network was with the Executive Office on Aging. And your words took me under your wings. But during that time, at Office on Aging and many years after, and in my current position right now, there has not been a more dedicated and vocal advocate of older adults than you. So I want to wish you and congratulate you on this very incredible recognition and wish you well. Thank you again for all that you do.
We have another video. This is from Lynn Niitane, who is a long-term care volunteer coordinator in the Ombudsman Office.
Hi, my name is Lynn Niitani, and I'm the volunteer coordinator for the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program. I first met John 20 plus years ago when I was a social worker at a skilled nursing facility. What I remember most about John was his fearlessness in fighting for our residents' rights. John knew the rules, and he wasn't afraid to go after a facility if it meant improving the residents' quality of life. John hasn't lost this fire and continues to make sure our vulnerable residents are taken care of. It's been exciting to see that others recognize his passion and sense of responsibility. With this year's approval of 5 new full-time ombudsman positions, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program can better fulfill its mandate to protect our kupuna statewide. In addition to being a fearless advocate, John is a trainer, teacher, and mentor for the Ombudsman team. John reviews the report summaries for our Ombuddies and provides guidance, suggestions, and encourages team members to share their lessons learned with others so that everyone benefits from his years of experience. John has joked that he wants 2022 to be remembered as the year of the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. If it is, it'll be because of John's tireless work to make a difference in the lives of our long-term care residents. Congratulations, John, for this honor.
Now we have a video from Jamel Duldalau, who is an ombudsman for Oahu.
Aloha, my name is Jamel Duldalau, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman of Oahu here at the Executive Office of Aging. So actually this message is going out to John McDermott, our state long-term care ombudsman for the last 24 years. So John, I want to congratulate you on achieving this wonderful honor by the Hawaii Pacific Gerontological Society. You definitely deserve this honor. You and I have known each other for roughly about 10 years now. As you know, we met at 24 Hour Fitness in Waikiki. Fortunately, it's no longer around, but what I do admire about you, John, is that you've always been consistent and persistent about continuing to work out, achieving goals of, wanting to get bigger, have bigger muscles, and of course, staying fit as much as possible. So I also want to congratulate you, John, for, achieving this other milestone where you were able to get 5 new long-term care ombudsmen for the outer islands. I know you've been doing this role for the last 24 years, almost entirely by yourself. But again, that's something that I admire about you. Your strong advocacy for our seniors and our kupuna and the residents in the long-term care setting. You've definitely demonstrated that to me. You've been a great mentor to me as well. As the new long-term care ombudsman now for the last year and a half, you've definitely shared, a lot of your insights and a lot of your knowledge. And I want to continue to definitely learn from you while you are still our state long-term care ombudsman. So again, just wanted to thank you, John, for all that you've done for the state of Hawaii, for our kupuna and definitely our seniors and our residents in the long-term care setting. So again, congratulations, John, and aloha.
Now we go to the island of Kauai with Wayne Yamashita, who is the ombudsman on Kauai.
Wow.
Aloha, John. This is Wayne from Kauai. Just wanted to congratulate you on your award for the many years of service to our kapunas. I've known John for over 25 years since working at a nursing facility at Maialona Hospital. John has been a friend, a mentor, and a role model for me all these years. Even after I left the nursing facility and went to work with APS for 4 years, we still kept in touch. Then I retired in October of last year, and I was enjoying retirement. Then I get a call from John asking me if I could take this part-time position for the long-term care ombudsman on Kauai. Reluctantly, I was hesitant to accept, but John, being very persuasive, got me to join up. I'll sign up. Yeah. But anyway, I want to thank John for this opportunity and our friendship. Congratulations again, John. A job well done. You take care. Bye.
We have an ombudsman for East Hawaii, Jacqueline Gardner, next.
My name is Jacqueline Gardner. I am the East Hawaii Long-Term Care Ombudsman. John McDermott is my boss as the State Long-Term Care Ombudsman, and I am doing this video to tell him and everyone else who is watching and listening that A, he's a wonderful ombudsman, and B, he's a pretty good boss, and we will miss him when and if he ever retires. But don't tell him we're going to hold him hostage at his job for the next 10 years. Thank you for honoring him as the wonderful American person and giving him this award, and he will share his monetary reward with all of us. Have a good day.
Now we have Kimberly Igataki, Project Coordinator, Elderly Affairs Division, RSVP.
Program.
Hi, John. Kimberly Igataki with the Elderly Affairs Division, Retired and Senior Volunteer Program. I would like to thank you for all that you do and more. You have been a huge supporter of RSVP and the senior community. This recognition is well deserved. Congratulations, John.
Now we have retired Brigadier General Clarence Agena, Ombudsman, Oahu.
Aloha. My name is Clarence Agena, and I am a volunteer long-term care ombudsman at Kapuna Wai'ola Nursing and Restorative Care Center in Kapolei. I have known John McDermott for over 4 years. John is an outstanding long-term care ombudsman and runs a very successful program for the state of Hawaii. I would like to congratulate John for the outstanding service he provides to all residents in the long-term care facilities throughout the state. John, thank you very much for all you have done for us and for the long-term care residents. Mahalo nui loa.
Brent Fremont is up next, Ombudsman on Oahu.
Surprise, John, and congratulations on this well-deserved award. I'd also like to congratulate you on all the hard work you did getting the full-time positions for all of the neighbor islands. We desperately need, as you know and I know, full-time ombudsman on each island. I've been, as you know, I've been with the program for 9 years, 5 years as a volunteer, and it's always been comforting to know that whenever I had a problem, whenever I needed help, you were always right there. You have been more like a mentor to me than a boss, and I really appreciate that. I've learned an awful lot from you, the years that I've worked with you, and you know, it's been a real pleasure working with you all this time. And you know, 5 years as a volunteer, 4 years as a contractor. And I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for me and everything that you've done for the program. And good luck in your upcoming retirement, too.
Last but not least, we have a message from Helen Wagner, the Vice President of Kokua Council and the former Director of Grandparents Raising Grandchildren.
John, I just want to tell you that I thank you from Grandparents Raising Grandchildren and also for caregivers, how you have supported us in so many different ways. And one of the ways I thank you is for the tickets to the theaters that you would supply so that those caregivers and those seniors that don't drive at night, that you gave me the opportunity to drive them to a live theater so that they may enjoy the simple pleasures and the things that of the culture here in Hawaii and have those moments of enjoyment. Thank you for thinking of us and supporting us. Thank you. And God bless you and protect you in your journey in serving Hawaii, because you have always tried to be an honest person in doing those things. I bless you, and God guide and protect you. Amen.
We have one more, John.
One more.
Yeah, we have one more. This one is from Dr. Colette Brown, who was a Emeriti Professor of the Thompson School of Social Work and Public Health, University of Hawaii at Manoa, and also a member of the Policy Advisory Board for Elder Affairs.
Hi, John. Please let me join with others in wishing you a wonderful retirement. And more than that, such a sincere mahalo to you for all of your years of advocacy on behalf of feral elders here and elsewhere. I hope your retirement brings you great joy. And again, thank you so much for all you've done.
John, I have one more certificate. This is from the Hawaii State Legislature, signed by many of the legislators that you have worked with over the years. This is to honor John McDermott for his dedication and devotion to the kupuna of Hawaii. Whereas our kupuna are the soul of the Hawaiian Islands, carrying the tragedies, triumphs of the past, as well as valuable lessons learned. And whereas John McDermott understands that soul like no other, having advocated for the well-being and safety of Hawaii's elderly and long-term care facilities, whereas he stepped out of the grandeur of the University of Notre Dame and arrived in Hawaii as counselor and assistant chaplain at the Hawaii State Hospital, and thereafter in 1985 worked at such notable organizations and institutions as Halekipa, Chaminade University, University of Hawaii, Catholic Charities, Monolani Nursing Home, and Halenani Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. And whereas his journey as a Hawaii State long-term ombudsman began in 1998 and has continued in his outstanding advocacy, fighting against elder abuse, neglect for resident veterans, long-term care initiatives, and nursing home staffing requirements. And whereas his greatest achievement was fully realized just in July 2022, when the governor signed into law staffing and funding for 5 full-time state ombudsmen for the neighbor islands of Kauai, Maui, Hilo, Kona, and for Oahu. And whereas John continues the fight for the vulnerable, those facing language barriers and end-of-life decisions, elderly prisoners, and the economically challenged, now therefore, be it resolved by the 31st Legislature of the State of Hawaii, hereby recognizes John McDermott for his dedication and devotion to the kupuna of Hawaii and sends our heartfelt mahalo and congratulations on his many achievements on behalf of the kupuna and our state.
Wow. Thank you.
Now I think we're going to go to Rick, who is on call to get comments from the audience. Rick?
Hi, John. I want to thank HPGS for honoring John on his long and devoted career as the Hawaii Long-Term Care Ombudsman. When John was at Halenani, I remember him calling me to ask me if he should take the job as the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. We discussed the pros and cons. He knew that he would have to take a major pay cut to be the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. But he also knew that it was a position that would make a difference in the lives of our kupuna. So as a true social worker, it wasn't about the money, it was about making a difference in Hawaii. So he became the Long-Term Care Ombudsman. And for 24 years, John has been keeping our kupuna safe and ensuring their rights. Good job, John, and good decision that you made 24 years ago. Thank you for all you have done and continue to do for our kupuna. Congratulations on a successful and meaningful career.
Aloha, John. I just wanted to congratulate you for this wonderful honor. Well deserved. Thank you for your tireless devotion and dedication to Hawaii's vulnerable kupuna, and especially for bringing to the neighbor islands positions of ombudsman so that we are all going to be taken care of. Congratulations.
Well, okay, so again, I'm really, really touched and very surprised about how much work was put into this. I actually called up Kathy Wyatt yesterday because I was wondering, I know this event is taking place and nobody has told me how am I supposed to prepare for it, where is it, what time is it, how am I supposed to dress? And yesterday Rick said, don't wear black or white and be there at 4 o'clock, and we started at 5:30, and that was it. So I really had no idea of what this was going to be or what kinds of questions you might ask me and how I'm supposed to prepare for that. So I really am totally shocked at how much work was put into this, and gathering all those proclamations, things like that. That takes a long time, and so I really appreciate HPGS for honoring me. I was very active with HPGS a long time ago, and I actually helped with Shirley Kidani organizing some of the conferences, and then I just kind of faded out because I got too busy with other things, and now I feel very guilty about that, and I will become a much more active HPGS member. So you've convinced me I made a mistake in fading away.
Gee, John, I think we're going to have you join the board.
Oh.
Hey, John, on behalf of the Pacific Gerontological Society, we'd like to present you this Koa clock to show our appreciation for all you've done for our island's kupuna. Just remarkable, man.
That's so nice. Thank you so much. By the way, I hope people notice your shirt that you are also an ombudsman.
This isn't about Denver.
At 15 Craigside. So yeah, Lynn Ni'itani, our volunteer coordinator, has done a really good job in getting us more volunteers and having our program look more professional in terms of having a logo, and all of our brochures, everything has been updated. We were grateful that with the Federal CARES Act money, we received about $100,000, and so we used it to really bring our program up to speed and focus more on recruitment. And regarding the 5 positions, of course, we could have never done that without the help of Senator Moriwaki and Representative Troy Hashimoto. So the Kupuna Caucus, they vote on the top 5 bills because you can't spread yourself out too thin. And they made the Ombudsman program #1. And so it was surprisingly easy. We had so many people testify. So it went from being a House bill and a Senate bill into the governor's budget. And then the proclamation that we had signed, just very coincidentally, was on my 24th anniversary when I was hired. We wanted it to be on a day when PBIA was meeting because we wanted the neighbor island AAAs to be part of it. And so I totally forgot that that was also my anniversary. So it was just meant to happen, I guess. And now we really want to fill those positions. So anybody who's watching this, we really do need people to apply for full-time positions for Kauai, for Hilo, for Maui, one more position for Oahu, because right now Jamel's covering Oahu by himself with the volunteers. So his caseload is about 10,000 people. That's a lot. And he visits about 6 facilities every morning and then comes back to the office to do his paperwork. So he has been really great in covering the territory. But again, we just had so much help from the legislature this year. And in 2017, when we got funding for the part-time contractors, that was very much through Sylvia Luke, who was representative for the House Finance Committee. So she was able to convince her fellow legislators to give us $75,000 to rehire the Oahu position because that was taken away in 2015. That's when I was left officially by myself. and then funding for part-time on Kauai, Maui, and only the Hilo side. So that was 2017, and now we've got the full-time positions, and so we need the Department of Health to help us to finalize that, because I've been in this game long enough to know that the state dance is sometimes one step forward, two steps back. And when the economy is not doing so good, then they look at vacant positions and they take them back. And so we don't want that to happen. So we really need to finish what we started and get this accomplished. So people think that I'm about to retire. I'm not about to retire until those positions are filled and those people are carefully trained and ready to go solo. And that's when I'll retire. But I don't want to be dropping out before we get to the complete finish line.
You know, COVID really brought out the need for these positions. I think that was a big part of this, John.
COVID definitely helped us in terms of getting the positions, because we were not able to fly to the neighbor islands. You couldn't fly anywhere.
Yeah.
And so if we didn't have the contractors, I couldn't go.
No.
And there was quite a few years where I went to a neighbor island every week.
Wow.
Which is why I have like 400,000 miles with Hawaiian Airlines. I'm glad I stuck with just the same airline the whole time. But yeah, when I first started, I remember on Kauai, a woman told me that she gets very cold and she wants a blanket. And so I thought, well, I can fix that. So I went to the nursing station and I said, this lady says that she's cold at night. Can we do something about that? And the charge nurse said, you know, every morning her blanket is on the floor. So we're just thinking that she's hot and she kicks it off on the floor. So I went back to talk to her and I said, they said that you kick it off on the floor. And she didn't know what I was talking about, but her roommate was overhearing the conversation and she said, that's not true. In the middle of the night, there's a CNA who doesn't like her and pulls the blanket off and throws it on the floor. And she's asleep, so she doesn't know that that happened. And I said to the roommate, well, why didn't you report it? And she said, you don't live in a long-term care facility, do you? I said, no. And she said, who's going to protect me if I get in trouble for reporting that? Are you going to be back here next week?
Right.
And I said, no, I don't come weekly. And she said, well, are you going to be back here next month? I said, I'm covering the whole state kind of by myself, so you're lucky if you're going to see me once a year. And she said, that's why I don't complain to the ombudsman, because you're not around enough.
Yeah.
And that really convinced me right there that we've got to have somebody on the neighbor islands who can go there in the evenings if there's something to investigate at night, who can be available for senior fairs, who can go to those AARP chapter meetings and all the other groups. And so we've been pushing for this for almost the full 24 years that I've been around. And so it really is a miracle that it happened, and it was just the right people at the right time.
Yep.
And COVID helped us in terms of really pointing out why we have to have people on the neighbor islands.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, John. So, wasn't that incredible? Standing ovation for everyone who contributed to today's special show. You guys are remarkable. Every one of you that gave testimonies joined us, that helped put this together, making aloha a way of life, improving Hawaii with your love and talent. Mahalo nui loa. In closing, we'd like to share our HPGS mission statement. It feels like a good way to wrap up our event with this best practice call to action. Just like with the Ombudsman, HPGS has a call to action as well. We're about the workforce. So the mission of HPGS is to increase awareness and interest in the field of gerontology by providing networking and educational opportunities, as well as scholarships to Hawaii's workforce or other interested parties, and otherwise to support the creation of needed policies and programs that will enhance the quality and number of age-friendly services to our kapuna in Hawaii. With that, we wish you well. Thanks for joining us.
Aloha, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program is part of the state's Executive Office on Aging.
As Ombudsman, we advocate for residents in licensed facilities who have issues with their care.
Many of our kupuna no longer have family living close by to watch out for them. As Ombudsman, you get to be that person.
Ombudsmen are screened, trained, certified, and assigned a facility close to their home.
If you enjoy spending time with our kupuna and want to ensure that they receive the care they deserve, then we want you.
Be a voice for Hawaii's most vulnerable kupuna. Call us today at 808-586-7291 or visit our website for more information. Mahalo nui loa.
Aloha, the Long-Term Care Ombudsman Program is part of the state's Executive Office on Aging.
As Ombudsman, we advocate for residents in licensed care facilities who have issues with their care.
Many of our kupuna no longer have family living close by to watch over them. An ombudsman can be that person.
Ombudsmen are screened, trained, and certified, and assigned to a facility close to their home.
If you enjoy spending time with our kupuna and want to ensure that they receive the care that they deserve, then we want you.
Be a voice for Hawaii's most vulnerable kupuna. Call us today at 808-586-7291 or visit our website for more information. Mahalo nui loa.